So guys, today I'm going to be doing a video basically doing my best to do a TLDR breakdown of all of the articles that we got today. We got 5 in total, the first going over the 10-year anniversary event inside of Destiny 2, and the next 4 basically giving us breakdowns into Project Frontiers, be it game updates, story stuff, activities, and all of that. If you want to read all these articles for yourself, I'll have links in the description, but this video is basically just going to be a TLDR breakdown of the most important stuff that I was able to find within each of these articles. If I do miss anything that you guys think is super important, be sure to share it in the comment section down below. All that being said, I hope you're going to enjoy this video, and if you do, if you could leave a like and subscribe, I'd very much appreciate it. But now let's just jump into the first article here, which is the 10-year anniversary event, which probably has your interest, judging by the image that you're seeing at the top here, which includes the Icebreaker, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the first thing is to go over that these armor sets are now going to be inside of the game. By the time you're seeing this video, the 10-year anniversary event is already probably live inside of the game, and you can get these by exploring the Pale Heart, go near around the tower surroundings, and you should find some stuff there. Alongside that, there's also a brand new title called Legend, so you can go and unlock that inside of the game right now as well. And there's also a brand new nerf collab with the Ace of Spades, so expect there to be a brand new ornament and maybe an emblem as well. But alongside that, they also tease that, as you may have already guessed, thanks to the key art, a certain exotic sniper, one considered by many to be a myth at this point, is resurfacing in an upcoming dungeon. We'll share more info at a later date, but we hope this helps break the ice. So they go on to tease that Icebreaker is in fact returning inside of an upcoming dungeon, which is supposedly a part of this 10-year anniversary stuff, which means that the dungeon is probably going to be free, maybe? I'm not 100% sure on that, but Icebreaker is returning, which is very exciting to see. Moving on from the 10-year anniversary stuff though, let's now go into the Project Frontiers information. Firstly, what is Project Frontiers? Well, this is basically the new way that they're going to be releasing content into the game, and this image right here basically explains everything pretty darn well. Inside of 2025, we're going to be receiving 2 brand new expansions, codename Apollo and codename Behemoth, with 4 major updates, 2 coming in Apollo and 2 coming in Behemoth. Expansions are going to include new stories, new locations, new missions, new weapons, new gear, new raids and dungeons, and seasonal updates like the major updates that you see here coming in 2025 and fall 2025 are going to include new and reprised activities, new gear and artifact mods, new modifiers and challenges, new sandbox metas, and new events like Iron Banner and some other stuff. And then your reward passes are basically like your season passes, and they aren't really changing all that much. Now, one major thing to note is that the only paid content here is going to be the actual expansions themselves, with the major updates being completely free. Major updates are comparable to like seasons, so those being free is a great way to incentivize people to actually come and play, because now that content isn't locked behind a paywall, which is awesome. Alongside that, there's also some concept art here, which just looks really, really cool. They basically just talk about what I already said. These 2 expansions are going to be, quote, medium-sized, so expect them to not be on the size of something like the Final Shape or the Witch Queen, and we will be receiving one every 6 months. So we'll first start off with codename Apollo, and then 6 months later receive codename Behemoth, and then each of those major updates, I think they say here, we'll be getting one every 3 months. Each expansion will launch alongside a major update at the start of the season, and then a second major update will follow 3 months later to refresh the core game with new and reprised content, including strikes, exotic missions, or entire new modes like Onslaught, weapons, armor, artifact mods, and exotics, and more, new weekly events, new features, and combat meta and balance updates. There's some cool stuff there. And then they go on to say here that all of those major updates and seasons and stuff are going to be free, which is absolutely awesome. The next going to talk about approachability and stuff, which we'll get into in the other 3 articles that we have to go over here. So we're going to move on to the story stuff here, thanks to the Destiny 2 narrative director Allison here, basically going on to state that in the first expansion, codename Apollo, is going to be the first expansion with a non-linear story. What that means is, in past expansions like the Final Shape, you have experienced the story as going from A to B to C to D. But in Apollo, you'll be able to start off at A, but then you can choose if you want to go to C first, or maybe you want to go to D, or maybe B. Going to each of those will not block off one of the others, just gives you more agency over what content you want to experience first, giving you that exploration feeling going into this new expansion, which has me very much excited. And this concept art here also just looks really, really cool. So I'm definitely excited to see how this exploration aspect plays into the Apollo expansion. And yeah, there's a load of story stuff here as well if you want to read that for yourself, but we're going to move on to the next article here, mainly being the Deep Site Core Game Activities article. This one, basically, the main thing from this article is that they're going to be adding brand new ways for you to customize certain activities. This mainly works, as an example, in the terms of strikes. So as you can see here, there's going to be a lot more options in terms of difficulty, and then you can go over and change actual things within those said difficulty options. These things can be like introduce new enemy combatant abilities to increase their threat, or introduce new combatant challenges to change how you play, provide incentives for changing up build crafting, as well as raise the target power of the activity to globally increase the difficulty. Alongside this, as you can see by the rewards here, the more stuff that you add on, the more rewards you will get, which seems pretty interesting. They didn't go into too much detail because it's all still work in progress, but it does seem really, really cool. And then they basically go on to say that the more challenges and stuff that you add on, the more rewards you will be able to get. Now, they do say here that this doesn't really work with Crucible, but they are working to try and fit this into Crucible in some way. And yeah, they also have some questions here about older activities. Are they going to be going away? They say that they aren't, but similar to how seasonal activities get replaced with every year, that's still going to be a thing. And how does this work with matchmaking and stuff, with certain challenge options removing and adding matchmaking depending on which option you go and choose. Once again, if you want to read more in depth there, links in the description. But moving on, let's go into the next article here, which is Developer Insights Core Game Rewards. Now, the main stuff here is basically stating that rewards in the game are feeling bland. So, as an example of some changes here, they talk about legendary weapons and armor now receiving new quality tiers that layer on properties like stat bonuses, enhanced perks, and other benefits. For weapons, this will be similar to how adept weapons upgrade the baseline legendary. The baseline tier of legendary weapons and armor will be equivalent to current day legendaries, with higher tiers being generally equivalent to adept weapons in terms of upgrades. So basically, rewards are going to have new like tiers to them, which will just increase base stats and stuff like that, meaning that farming out legendaries and different tiers of legendaries is actually going to have some meaning to it, which is actually quite cool. This is obviously an early mock-up, so don't take anything as like here being final. They then go on to say that these higher tiers of weapons and armor will be available from a full range of core game activities as rewards for higher challenge tiers and mastery of those activities. So like in the previous article, when you select your different challenges, if you increase or add more of those challenge options, you're more likely to find these higher legendary tier weapons, which is quite cool. They then go on to talk about reward pools. The major core game reward pools will be updated in every major update and will be core PvE and PvP rewards. PvE activities will be like strikes and PvP got Crucible, and then pinnacle PvE rewards shared among most intrinsically challenging PvE activities like dungeons, and then for PvE that'll be stuff like Trials of Osiris. For every expansion also comes 2 full reward pools: expansion story rewards shared among missions, exploration, or other activities in the expansion content. Then you've also got expansion raid and dungeon rewards for expansion, raid, or dungeon content. And then you've also got an update here for newer gear. So if you see here this image, this is what new gear inside of the game is going to look like. So let's say that when a new expansion drops and you receive a completely brand new gun that came with that expansion, it's going to now have that nice turquoisey blue border around it. And there's also going to be artifact mods similar to the artifact mods that we can find that are assigned to specific origin traits that will build into these specific new weapons. So there's going to be some level of build crafting around using brand new stuff, which is kind of an interesting way of getting people to use these brand new weapons without actually really heavily forcing people to do so if they don't want to. Because if you go and look at the current artifact, some of the origin trait based perks within it aren't all that great, but just a way of boosting those newer weapons for those who want to use them, which is cool. Some questions here at the bottom though. So does new gear mean old gear is being sunset? No, it just means that if you get new gear with each season, there's going to be ways for you to buff that certain gear, but no sunsetting is going to be taking place. Can you still obtain old gear? Yes. Exclusive gear will remain available for older activities such as raids, dungeons, or destinations. And what happens with weapon crafting? Weapon crafting is still going to be a thing. and it's just a way for people to catch up mainly. That's how they see weapon crafting. But they'll have more details in a future article. And then finally here we have the portal, which is basically a new player's guide, pretty much to what this game actually is and what content there is to do in the game. Because if you are a new player and look at the destination screen, you're just going to be completely confused. So the portal screen here is going to be basically a one-stop shop place for you to find stuff to do inside of the game. So you've got stuff like solo ops, fireteam ops, pinnacle ops, crucible, and events. You've got the tower, you've got expansion stuff, and then you've got other objectives and stuff as well. So stuff that they go into, solo ops is going to be 1 to 3 player activities requiring very low time or social commitments. Fireteam ops is your 3 player activities for all match-made or pre-made groups designed for fire teams with more cooperation and coordination. These will feature things like strikes, onslaught, coil, and new types in the future. Flashpoint ops is going to be 6 player activities or match-made for pre-made groups planned for a future season. This category will be introduced later next year, and it will feature more chaotic 6-player combat-like offensives. Quite interesting there. You've then got Pinnacle Ops. This is your 3-player activities. Think like dungeons, exotic missions, and full-length onslaught, with Pinnacle Ops having an exclusive reward pools to claim, but success not being guaranteed. And then you finally got your Crucible here, which is going to be your Crucible category of rewards and stuff. One thing that you might see here is that Gambit isn't mentioned on this new portal screen. They say that they're going to be working on Gambit, maybe incorporating it more into the Crucible side of the game, but they'll have more to share on Gambit in a later update. Alongside that, they've also got bonus rewards. So every day, several activities in the category will have bonus rewards added to their standard offerings. These bonus rewards will include things like specific weapons, specific armor slots, currencies like enhanced materials or strange coins, just some things that you can do every day to basically get more rewards and to bolster up certain activity playlists and stuff, which is going to be good. And then they end off here with an FAQ, like, are old activities going away? No, but similar to how at the end of a year seasonal content gets removed, that's still going to be kind of a thing. Gambit, they'll talk about it in a future little update article. And then will raids and dungeons be in the portal? Dungeon content is part of the Pinnacle Ops category, and then raid content will not initially be part of the portal categories because of the long clear times combined with wide variation in experience present some unique challenges that they're still working through. And yeah, that is a very quick as I can make it breakdown of all of these articles. I would highly recommend that if you really care about everything going on, go and find the links that I'll have linked in the description to each of these articles. Read them through thoroughly. There's other insight stuff that I probably missed here. But yeah, just wanted to make this video as quick as I could so that you guys aren't sat here once again for an hour and a half having someone read every single word to you. And yeah, that's basically it. Go and enjoy the 10-year anniversary stuff, probably live inside the game right now. That's it from me here today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.